What's happening, guys? This is Adi from Gate 7 International coming to you on a Sunday, a very off Sunday. There's a lot going on around the world. We have the elections going on in Europe. And quite frankly, there's just not yet an incredible amount of news. Manu checking in already, our contributor from Mexico. What's going on, buddy? So, a lot of stuff. Actually, not too many things to talk about. We'll be quick. Tomorrow, we will probably end up going live after the basketball game as well. So this will be a little bit of a short episode to cover some topics that have been going on social media. Guys, it has been about a week and a half since we won the title. And in a way, it kind of feels like an eternity has passed. So much celebration. In a way, I still can't believe it happened. And I don't think I'm going to ever this summer stop feeling this way. But it's good to see everybody here, everyone that's tuning in, especially like I said, on an episode that's just on a Sunday where not really much has been going on outside of the fact that we're all still excited about the win. So before we go on and talk about the things that we need to talk about here, don't forget to like and subscribe. The community is growing super fast. I mean, we have been across all platforms growing at a rate that I don't think we have before, especially on YouTube, especially Instagram. Instagram, we just hit 9K. That was a few days ago, and it barely took us 2 weeks to get there from when we hit 8K. I think it was like 15 days, which is we've never gotten 1,000 followers that fast before. We're less than 90 subscribers to hitting the 5K mark on YouTube as well, which is absurd. So keep the gravy train going. Every like, every interaction you guys give helps more red and white fans find us. And it's remarkable how the community is growing. It's remarkable how this is growing. I was at the US men's national team game where we got absolutely crushed by Colombia 5-1. And never in my life I was wearing a Olympiacos jersey, and so many people were saying, "Oh, Olympiacos, congratulations on the conference win." I have never been to any event or venue ever where I've worn Olympiacos anything. Maybe one or two people say something or say hi, "Oh, Olympiacos," whatever. But dozens of people congratulating because Olympiacos won. I've never experienced that before in a Olympiacos jersey outside of Greece. So it's real. The growth in the red and white community and the recognition of Olympiacos is real. You can also join us on Patreon. The Patreon community has a WhatsApp chat that we get into all sorts of nonsense with, make fun of each other for the type of coffee we drink, you name it. All of it goes on there. Plus, sometimes we leak a little bit of information that we don't otherwise share on social media. So for $1 a month, you can check that out. Patrons also get early access to scouting reports. The Danny Garcia scouting report will be available for patrons of the enhanced content tier. That's $5 a month. That will be available after tonight. So you can get early access to those scouting reports if you join the Patreon group. There's also a merch tier as well. And then don't forget to check out our merch because our merch is available. You can go to our website, check out the merch shop, and see if there's anything that tickles your fancy. We know that the international shipping has been quite expensive. We know. It's an unfortunate reality we have to deal with, but we have workarounds for it. We may have a method that we can get the shipping at the very least to Greece for free. It will take a little bit longer, obviously, but we can get it to Greece for free. And then we have an agent in Greece that may be able to ship to other countries in Europe at the very least for cheaper than what we've been able to do out of the United States. So we are evaluating those options for the international shipping. We have gotten a lot of DMs about that. So if you are outside of the US and Canada, we are working on those international shipping options for you to make things a little bit easier. So we're working on that, but we're really excited for all of that, all things considered. I'm glad to see people are excited for the deep dives. Alexis K, prepare yourself for 10 plus deep dives. I don't think it'll be that many. I think it's going to be some loan renewals, maybe a few more. Ben DeRoja, beloved patron. I heard Mike James was spotted at Nalu. I wish. That would be incredible. But we're going to get into that. You know what? And since Ben DeRosa has buried the lead there, let's start with Olympiacos basketball updates. First, We have the playoff finals. Olympiacos is leading 2-0. We play against Panathinaikos tomorrow, and hopefully we can get the sweep. It will be the sweetest taste. Ataman's been rejected twice. Giannakopoulos was out threatening the Hellenic basketball officials. He was threatening referees. Nothing will happen. If everything was consistent, the same thing would happen to him that was happening to us every time we opened our mouths in the football side of things. But I doubt anything will happen to him. And I'm surprised that no journalist wrote anything about it. But this is Greece. Live your myth in Greece, as they say. But anyway, it will feel so good to sweep them. So I'll be watching tomorrow. I know everybody else probably will as well. Hopefully we can get the sweep and we can get the 3-0. It would be amazing. Mike James has also been rumored. If you saw the Relevo articles today, Mike James has been rumored to be on his way to Olympiacos. Maybe. There's a lot of cool things up in the air. There was a rumor today about oh my goodness. I'm not one of the basketball guys, so I think it was Lorenzo Brown from Maccabi Tel Aviv. I could be wrong if somebody wants to correct me, but there was a rumor about him. Sasha Vesenkov has informed the Mavs that he does not intend to return for the second year of his contract. And all of this coming together, some rumors about Vesenkov wanting to return if there was a team built around him. Mike James, for basketball guys, it's going to be very interesting what happens. Very interesting. So I'm obviously not the right guy to tell you guys about that. I've barely been following basketball. I've been watching it only very recently. The other guys, I'm sure, will touch on that. Like I said, there is a plan for us to do a show after the game tomorrow. Hopefully, if we get the sweep, you'll see the guys on the live tomorrow, and they'll be talking about all of that. But I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit more about what's going on in the football world. I see there was a comment already about some of the transfer updates. So I'm going to start with one that kind of made the rounds from Sport FM this morning. Yorgos Xanakas wrote about a message from the Porto president, the new Porto president, remember. It's now Andrés Villas-Boas. He is the current Porto president. And he supposedly, again, this is as written by Yorgos Xanakas, he sent a message of congratulations to our Loney center back that's returning to Portugal, David Carmo. And he congratulated him and also wanted to discuss his future. They have a meeting next week about what David Carmo's future will be. And the meeting will discuss supposedly the kind of absolutions of the issues at hand. What will the issues that Porto and David Carmo have? Supposedly he's going to look to resolve those, and they'll see what happens. If a loan does happen, another loan that is, there will be a high buyout. There's been reports that we offered last week. There was a report that we had offered a new loan with a 1 million fee and a 12 million buyout. Then there was another rumor that they want 1 million plus a 14 million mandatory obligation to buy. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But the player wants to stay here. We want him to stay. And the player does have a fair amount of power when it comes to these types of negotiations. Look, at the very least, I know not everybody would be happy with just a loan. I know everybody wants to purchase him and keep him here. But the way it is right now, we have Mendy Libar for one more season. I am okay if he's only here for one more year so that we can capitalize on Mendy Libar being here, even if it's just for the one last year. I want to make the most out of this if we can keep this core together. So as far as I'm concerned, keeping him here is the goal, regardless of whether or not we can afford whatever buyout they put on it at the end. Keep the core. Let's build off this success for this coming year. That's how I see it. Some people probably don't agree, but unfortunately, the club, as we know, is in the financial position it's in, and that's it. There's nothing else we can do about it. So that's the update with David Carmo and where things are going. There's a very long summer ahead of us. We have no qualifiers, so don't be surprised if we see this drag out. But the priority right now is to renew all of these players. Now, Daniel Podence. We're still getting a lot of messages about Podence, so we got some today too. The story has not changed. Obviously, the player seems to want to stay in Greece. The relationship with him and Wolves is not good. Like, there's from what we have been told, it is not repairable. They want him out. He wants out. But Wolves want money. They want to test the open market. That's what we have been told. There's no buyout. So everyone keeps saying, "Oh, there's reports of buyout." The buyout thing I've only seen in Greek media. On the Wolves official press release, we have said this multiple times. When he came to us, there was never a mention of a buyout. We have spoken to quite a few people on the English side of things that are in the know. No buyout. They value him between 5 to 10 million. We obviously want to drop that figure as low as possible. They want to test the open market with him. They want to get a fee for him, and the player wants to come back to Greece, but there doesn't seem to be any indication that we'll get any kind of discount because the player loves us. Who knows? But again, as I said before with Carmo, what the player wants holds sway. It really does. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see how things shake out from here. But the Podence issue has not changed. The Podence issue has not changed at all. Not since we last spoke to you guys. Now, there was one more interesting little bit that came up in the news today. And that interesting bit of news was Omar Richards. So, an article by Gavros.gr talked about Omar Richards, doesn't know what vacation is. He's training, it's off season, doesn't know what summer vacation is. And he's still going and going and going. And but he's training for Olympiacos next season. Now, that was very interesting. That part is very interesting. Now, I know Gavros isn't exactly the beacon of news that it used to be regarding Olympiacos, but it's very interesting if he ends up here because by all accounts, he wants to be back in England. He even said it. He did also say he's open to a lot of things. That's also true. He could be back. Maybe it's another loan, but it was just very interesting that they said he's preparing to be back at the red and white when no one else has said anything. We obviously are sending messages, trying to find out what we can find out to verify this, but it was a very interesting little piece, a little bit of news tidbit about Omar Richards, whether or not he'll be here next season. You know, there's a lot of split opinions about Omar Richards. It took so long for him to get well, but when he did play a couple times, he looked at the very least pretty competent defensively, but then when we needed him the most, he was injured again. So do you want to risk bringing him in next season? Do you value what you think he has so much so that you want to see what he can offer you when he's fit? I don't think we're going to have too much ability to make big purchases once we bring in some of these loan guys back, if we assuming that we do, unless we make sales. So in that respect, I could see us either renewing a loan or doing something with Omar Richards, maybe similar to what we did with Biancon, that kind of deal. I don't know. But it was a very interesting thing to read today. And that's a situation we will continue to monitor, especially as we kind of go forward. Couple of comments coming here. Yorgos Moutsanos, are we really paying 5 to 6 million for Horta, around 10 for Podence, 14 million next year for Carmo, and then we need other players as well? No, guys, we're not paying those fees. Impossible. It's impossible. This club cannot afford to pay fees like that. Without Champions League, we do have a guarantee of Europa League, but still, we're still paying the price for some of the mistakes we made a couple of years ago. Don't forget that. There's no way. We're going to negotiate these fees down. We're going to for sure. There's no way we're not paying 10 for Podence. If we can get, we probably don't even want to pay 5, to be honest with you. But yeah, there's no way. And Carmo, if we do get him, and let's say it's an obligation to buy, there's going to be a lot of payments. It's going to be a ton of installments for Carmo. So I just don't see how that's possible to pay those kinds of fees. Sparrows, what happened to Mahdi? I mean, Mahdi's contract's up this season. We tried to sell him in the winter. He didn't want to leave. And then Ben DeRosa brought up that he's been linked to Balk. Yeah, he's been linked to Balk. This is just another one of those instances. We probably put a value on a player way higher than it ever should have been. And we're not gonna get anything for him. And he could end up going to Balk. I said on my personal when we saw Mahdi's goodbye, and he said the goodbye to the club, and he's like, "This is too hard," blah, 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 blah. On one hand, I saw the goodbye. I thought about the early years with him, the first, 2, 3 years under Pendra Martins when he was here, and I was just I started to relive those memories, but then at the same time, I also was like, "Who cares? This goodbye means nothing to me, given what we've seen the past couple of years. You you pushed your way out because you wanted to go to Roma. You did nothing for Mourinho. You had a chance here under a new system with Diego Martinez, and then once Diego Martinez was out and Carvajal came in and things didn't go that, things happen. There was that interview from Guinea, from the reporter in Guinea, and that Mahdi, of course, claimed he never spoke to and he never gave the interview. Anyway, it's the situation with Mahdi is unfortunate. Not that I put all of the blame on Mahdi, by the way, because this club unfortunately has done some I don't want to say bad business, but we haven't properly either evaluated and let go of our talent. We had very high valuations on players like Mahdi, Cisse, and Agibu Kamara, and we didn't let them go when we had the chance to. That is the problem. And I think we need to learn lessons from that. It is what it is. If Mahdi goes to PAOK, you know, he's a football player looking to make money. It's kind of F off. You're going to our rival, but whatever. Just kind of shows where he's at. You know what I mean? There were French clubs interested in him at one time. There were bigger clubs interested. And now, if that's all he can get is PAOK, shows you kind of where he's at as a player. Adis Bond saying Madi Tapak is off due to him asking for too much money. Yeah, it was 1.5 million he wanted, I think. Balk, I don't know how many players Balk is going to give that type of money to. Adis Bond also said, going back to FC Porto, Andre Villas-Boas is rich AF from one of those most well-off families in Portugal. A true trust fund kid. Why does he need money for Carmo anyway? I doubt Andre Villas-Boas is putting money into the club, and that's also not exactly how FFP works. So, but I see what you're saying. Mike Scobb, we need to keep as many as possible, 2 to 3 smart transfers, push under 19 players in the first team. Then we need to sell Biel, Doi, Camara, and whatever else, and earn 10 million minimum to have a decent transfer period. Yeah, you're definitely right. And we actually started today was one of our first keep sell loan bits that we did with Agibu Kamara. We started with Agibu. Agibu just scored a goal for Guinea about 2 days ago, I think it was, against Algeria, and he helped Guinea beat Algeria for their World Cup qualifications. They won 2-1. And Agibu has spent this is his second year on loan at Atromiros. There's no renewal so far. I doubt the player is going to renew at this point, which is a shame because, I mean, very young. In that last season of Martins, we didn't have a lot of bright spots, and he was one of them. Seemed like something that we could have used or sold, and we held on to him. We didn't sell him, and then after, after 6 coaches, nobody valued him, and he ended up off to Atromiros for 2 seasons on loan. It's a shame. We did a keep sell loan across socials about that. And up until right before the show, until we went live, it looked like most people wanted to sell. But now I think it just is edging out for keep Yeah, 45% saying keep, 45% keep at the moment, and 38% sell. So, 1 year left on his contract, a player like that. Do you cash in? Do you keep him? Do you think Mendilibar can do something with a player like that? We'll go through all of them at some point, but today, we had the date out for Agibu. As far as his work rate goes, a player like that, the work rate you think Mendilibar can use, but the technical ability and his positional awareness, you wonder if that's something that really fits with Mendilibar. But we have some sellable assets, and we are going to need to sell because we will have to make some sales to in order for us to make moves over the summer. I mean, that's just the way that it is. Lakis Gavalas, individual I spoke with actually about Agibu earlier today. Assuming no sales, how much are we allowed to spend this summer according to FFP? So there's a couple of things here. Well, like I said before, we will have to make sales if we want budget. There's only so much you can do, even with the promise of Europa League. You still have to make the books match from the last couple of seasons. So for us, one of the good things that we actually have going for us is we have so many contracts that are ending. Now, obviously, we have a handful that we want to keep, but a lot of these contracts ending make it easier for us to meet the squad ratio. Remember, this past season, the squad ratio was at 90% for FFP. You could only spend 90% of revenue on wages and remunerations, that kind of thing. So like wages and salary bonuses for staff. Now it drops to 80%. And in the last few years, our revenues have slowly declined. We have a very nice deal with Cosmote, which we're going in the final year of the 55 million euro deal, but we don't have Champions League. We started in Europa League this season, ended in Conference League, and even winning all of that, the extra revenues from Europe is probably around 20 million max. So being guaranteed Europa League group stage, it's better revenue for us, but we also still need to do something in Europa League in order to get revenues that will actually make a difference for us. So that being said, the one thing we have going for us is so many players are out of contract that it is going to help us for the squad ratio, but we still won't be able to bring too many players in unless we make some sales. We are going to have to make sales if we are hoping to either buy any players or B even maintain and pay and renew some of these players. So we'll see how it shakes out, but I mean, we probably have enough budget freed up to secure the wages of some loan players, but I don't see how we're going to be able to I don't see how we're going to be able to make huge fees. It's just not possible. We can defer, like I said, Carmo, if it's a loan, okay, we think about his fee later. We're still going to have to pay 1 million. Uh, Arispan responding to Spados here. Danny Garcia, 34-year-old midfielder from Bilbao, isn't a done deal. It is not, but there's been a lot saying that it's close. And like I said, the scouting report for him will be coming out soon. He's supposed to be another veteran because Ibora is not coming back. Ibora wants to go back to Spain and finish his career there. So we'll see how it ends up with Danny Garcia. But if you're on Patreon, you can end up checking out the deep dive there for him and see what he could bring us. Is it unlikely for Horta to stay? We talked about this earlier. Again, the player and the club want him to stay. So we'll see what happens there. We don't have any other information, guys, unfortunately. And like I said, this is going to be a very short episode. There's not a lot of news. So we're going to keep this show pretty short because we're going to go tomorrow. We'll talk probably a little bit more about basketball. Shonoko Spitzanos Marinakis has experience on breaking FFP with Forest. My God, guys, come on here. The Premier League has different rules. They have PSR, which is a little bit more strict and nuanced than FFP. But I see some comments about Gil Diaz, Brian Gill, or sorry, Gil Diaz. My God, Brian Gill. We want a loan with option, but Tottenham want to sell. We'll see how that goes. You guys know how transfer summer, there'll be names. We're probably never gonna get the real information about how certain deals work out. I mean, for almost an entire season, everyone thought that Daniel Podence had a buyout in his loan, and that never happened. So you guys know that it's just not. Nothing is as it seems in the Greek transfer market. Like his Gavalas, apart from Heze and the U19s, we don't have that much to sell for any significant amount. This is very true. We're looking at sales, any sales that we make. Like, let's say we sell a guy like Agibu Kamara, we sell Pep Biel, we sell Doi. These are going to be small fees. But you know what? If these are players that are bit parts, Agibu Kamara, guys, we got for like 200K or less. Sell him for, even if you can get him for sell for 1 or 2 million, that's something. You sell Doi, an academy player, you get a couple million for him. All of that helps, all of it, and it's huge for us. So it's look, it's going to be a long summer, and nobody should be stressing about anything yet. We are a week and a half away from the first European title that a Greek team has ever won. We are a week and a half away from that Conference League victory. There is a lot hinging on this success, though. We have a lot of things that we need to build on this. And there was a comment from Lakis Gavalas about the fact that this Conference League victory could embolden perhaps some of the bad choices that were made. Because before this Conference League victory, I mean, we had 2 third-place finishes in a row in the league. If we don't win the Conference League, this is like disaster 2 years in a row. So don't panic yet, but there is a lot that needs to be done for Olympiacos to build on this success that we have. So, guys, we're just about getting to 30 minutes in here. Not too much to discuss, like I said. I'm going to do more data reports, keep sell loan segments on the other players that we have out on loan. We just did Agibu Kamara. I'll do Pep Biel next. I'll go through everybody, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. There's going to be a lot more stuff. Don't forget, we have the award show voting. It is going on now. We will repost on Instagram the stories one last time for the last votes if you have not gotten a chance to vote. But next week will be the award show for the Gate 7 International Annual Awards. We are, as always, super excited. Got a ton of votes in already. I mean, people are really excited about this. We love doing the award show too. It is a lot of fun for us. So go on Instagram stories, or you can DM us on other platforms if you don't want to vote directly on Instagram. Message us who your votes are for the various categories. It's 7 categories. It's MVP, Greek player, best Greek player, most improved player, goal of the season, podcast moment of the season. I'm missing one. MVP, goal of the season, most improved player, best Greek player, goal of the season, podcast moment, and then coat. You can vote for your coat of the season as well. So you can do all of those votes there. We've had some hysterical people vote already on different things. So check that out on social media. Check out the various categories. You don't have to vote in everything if you don't want to, but we encourage you to, obviously. And like I said, tonight and tomorrow until the afternoon will probably be the last time you can get your vote in. So check out our Instagram stories. The votes will go up for one final time if you did not get the chance to vote yet this weekend, and you have a chance to vote for who are your awardees for Gate 7 International Annual Award Show. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I told you it was going to be a short one today, probably the shortest live show we've done in a long time. Tomorrow, if things go well, we have another live show coming for you. A lot of great content coming out. We have some fun stuff also planned for the rest of the season. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We are on the way to 5,000 subscribers, less than 90 away for YouTube. And guys, like, we are already trucking on the way to 10K on Instagram. It's amazing. So thank you guys all for the support. It's incredible. And I think this is a summer that this community can do really big things. So keep watching the space for all of the updates regarding Olympiacos, and keep your eyes peeled for that live show tomorrow. We are rooting for Olympiacos basketball. Hopefully we can get the sweep on Panathinaikos. God, it will feel so good. Absolutely. And then, my God, if Melissanidis does what I've expected him to do since he bought Ike, gets the stadium, I don't even want to get into the politics of that, but Melissanidis could be selling Ike again. And last time he sold Ike, it was a disaster. So the hilarity will ensue. It's going to be absolutely hysterical. And then Panathinaikos hired Mendilibar's replacement at Sevilla last year, or this past season rather. And I think he won one game in like 2 months. It's amazing. It is amazing. Just when the Greek league looked like it was becoming the most competitive league, now God knows what's going to happen. But anyway, pay attention to this space. A lot of great stuff's happening, both in the league and without. It's absolutely hysterical. So we're always here. This is Gate 7 International, by the fans, for the fans. And we're looking forward to the next time we chat with you guys. Don't forget to check out Patreon. It's deep dive season. I won't get to sleep anymore, but hopefully that means you guys get to stay informed and you get more enjoyment. So check out Patreon and you can check out all of that. So this is Gate 7 International, boys, and we're going to see you guys again next time.